各位佛光人，大家吉祥！感谢您如约而至，通过线上，诸上善人聚会一处，一同参加为期4个周6的大洋洲法宝讲座，人生必修4堂课：老、病、死、生。我是今天的主持人海娜。
Hey, Hannah.
上周6的第2堂课。
For those who joined the Dharma talk last Saturday, Venerable Yongwen introduced to us the 5-month treatment method based on her own personal experience of dealing with sickness, which has certainly brought us lots of meaningful takeaways and inspirations. Today, we are very honored to invite the guest speaker, lay Dharma teacher Ms. Sophia Chao, Vice President of Buddha's Light International Association Chonghua Headquarters, to talk about death. There are people who deliberately want to avoid discussing about death. No matter how reluctant one is, death is an inevitable part of our life. For those who are enlightened, there is neither birth nor death. Hence, there is nothing worthwhile to be thrilled about for birth, and likewise nothing to be worried about for death. We do sincerely hope that everyone who joined the session today will benefit from Sophia's sharing of her legendary life experience, introducing about her diagnosis with cancer and her 2 times near-death experience many years ago. Before we pass it on to Sophia, let's invite Director of BLIA Headquarters and Elder Advisor of BLIA Melbourne, Ms. Dominic Yu, to give us an introduction speech. Thank you, everyone. We are very delighted to invite the lay Dharma teacher, Vice President of BLIA Zhonghua Headquarters, Ms. Sophia Chao, to deliver the 3rd Dharma talk for the 4 Muslim lessons with the topic of death today. Sophia is by far the most qualified guest speaker to talk about death. For those who are familiar with Sophia, they'll always refer to her as Sister Xiaohui. Between 1989 and 1999, Sophia had 2 near-death experiences. After she fully recovered, she further encouraged those around her with love, passion, compassion, and joy based on her personal experience. Just like what Venerable Master Xing remarks, Sophia is a role model for living the Foguangshan model of giving people confidence, joy, hope, and convenience to those around her based on her profound understanding of life. I would like to express my sincere, heartfelt appreciation to Sophia for being the first one accepting the invitation to be our guest speaker, which offers me tremendous confidence. Thank you so much, dear Sophia, and much love to you. Thanks a lot to Elder Advisor Dominic's introduction. Now let us pass the floor to our guest speaker, Sophia.
非常谢谢海娜，真的是
Thanks so
我
much,
上个礼拜
Hannah.
上礼拜我2个礼拜连着都听到海娜的开场的介绍。海娜
For the 2
的领悟真
consecutive
是特
weeks,
别
I've
的
been
好，
hearing their
特别特别的恭喜
introductory
你在这个
speech by
生死
Hannah,
的课
and I'm
程
really
中，能
impressed
够有
by
这么好的
Hannah's
说
understanding of
开
life
场
and
白，让
death.
我们了解。
So
还有
really
亲爱的律师，
congratulations to
我
you,
怎么没有
Hannah.
想到，
And
我
of
想
course,
糟糕
my
了，律师
dear
的国语
Dominic.
会不会广东腔很重啊？可是今天
I'm a
听到
little
你
bit
讲，
worried
我的
that
律师真不简
Dominic's
单。
Mandarin is
亲爱
not
的律
as
师
good
太
as
客
her
气了，
Cantonese,
我
but
觉得
I'm
能
also
够
very
跟大家
glad that
结
your
缘，真的
Mandarin
是
is
我
so
的福
fluent.
气。所以
So
各
I'm
位
really
亲爱
happy
的
about
佛光
that,
人，
and
还
also
有
to be
亲爱的
invited
法师，
today
还有亲
to
爱的
give
有
you the
缘人，
Dharma
大家
talk
吉
today.
祥。
And thank you
今
everyone, the
天
Dharma
在这
sisters
里
and
能够跟
brothers
大
of
家听一
Guangshan,
场我的
auspicious
生命经
blessings.
验，我觉得是
Today,
我的荣幸因为
it's
毕
actually
竟
my
死
honor here
亡
to be
死
able to
亡的
share
经
with you
验
about
不是每
my
个人都可以得到，
experience
而且它是
of
非
the
常
death.
非常的
Because especially for
个
death,
人
the
的，
experience
因为
is
我死
quite
了，自己
unique
死，
and
对
not
不对？
very
所以我自己有这
common
个经
to
验，那
everyone
这
because it's actually
你的
unique
自己的
for
经验就好啦，
each
跟我有什么
person.
关系呢？后来没有想到呀，我死亡过活过来以后，我开始阅读，广泛的阅读很多的资料，
After I've
我才
been
知
going
道啊，
through
我
the
的死
near-death
亡居然
experience
给我带
and
回来
reading a
的
lot of about
经
the
验
other
是
books,
可以分享的。我非
I actually come to realize that my own personal experience can be shared widely to everyone around us, and to draw on and capitalize on those experiences I've been going through, and to also express the love, the joy, and the compassion to those around us. So I'm very actually lucky to be chosen to actually undergo this special near-death experience, which was almost 2 decades ago. And I have never thought it could be such inspirational to me, and also which brought me globally to all different countries to actually share my personal experience, and also for those people to get inspiration out of my own personal experience. Before I start the talk officially today, I would like to share with you a video by Venerable Master Xing Yun. Now let's watch this short video by Venerable Master Xing Yun. The main topic for today is go follow the condition with birth and death. Auspicious blessings, everyone. Today, I'm gonna share with you about following the condition of birth and death. I have a disciple whose name is Sophia Chao, who's been the president of Guangshan, Vancouver. And now she's moved back to Taiwan. She has a very special and unique relationship with me based on the past karma and causes. It's almost like 40 or 50 years ago when we met each other. It was an old monk brought a primary school teacher to attend the ordination ceremony and asked us to actually recite the sutras. The old monk is so excited and asked us, "Venerable, is it okay for this primary school teacher to be ordained and renounce the lay life?" And I said, no, it's not good. And he asked me why it's not good. And I responded, it's actually already good to be a primary school teacher. Why would you like to renounce the lay life? I'm actually in favor of being ordained and becoming a nun. However, it needs to be meaningful, and you need to perform your duties. And later on, she listened to my advice and married a president of the hospital and become a housewife. And almost 20 years later, when we met each other again, when I was opened up for the Fo Guangshan, and then opened this summer camp, and one day a female, a superman or freshman came to this summer camp and see me and greeted me. Venerable, my parents asked me to send you the regards. And I asked, who are your parents? She responded, it's Chao Huanchun. And suddenly I realized, this is the little girl. If it's not my advice back then, you wouldn't be here today because your mother would be becoming a nun and there won't be you today. And later, she wants to become a nun as well. And then I also rejected her opinion and that you could be a teacher. And 20 years again later, I established the BOIA in Vancouver, and then she come back and meet us. And then I realized that she has done a lot of things for the Buddhism. And a couple of years ago, she was diagnosed with cancer for the throat and came back to Taiwan and mainland China to have some treatment. And now it's been several years later, and that shouldn't be that should be a dangerous disease and has not much time to live. However, after so many years, she's still alive and she has never been pessimistic, and it's been kind of spreading around the optimism and joy to those who are around her. And if you ask her, and she said, I forget about the birth and death. I just follow the condition and do not fear the death. And if we follow the same advice and model, and then we would also be living a very peaceful life. Thank you so much for watching this short video by Venerable Master sharing about following the condition of birth and death. And she actually used me as an example during this video. As per my own personal experience, permanence is always with us at any time. And once it came or comes, we should never get stuck in our life. We should go and follow the condition of the cycle of birth and death. During that video, Venerable Master Shui actually talked about my experience of sickness back then. And we were hosting their for Guangshan a member meeting in Vancouver back then. And because I was sick back then, I couldn't really attend that meeting. So Venerable Master Shui said, that's okay. You just rest in Taiwan and you don't really need to attend the meeting. So I thought the Venerable Master Xing is very compassionate. And I still vividly record the suggestions and guidance by Venerable Master Xing. There is nothing to be feared for about their sickness. And you should trust on the science instead of being superstitious, like just eating the ash of the incense. You should trust on the science and the medicine. And thirdly, and most importantly, you should make big vows. Vows are very powerful. So I remember the three powers as suggested by Venerable Master Xing, meaning the power of Dharma, the power of medicine, and the power of vow. And it's similar to what Venerable Yongwen also shared with us last week about 5 months treatment. It's like the mind of joy, peace, non-attachment, etc. And now, when we are faced up with the last moment in our lives, we're also very fortunate to actually be able to listen to the Dharma talk given by Venerable Xingding. And we need to also remember when we are sick, we need to rest well, and repent well, and meditate. And if we follow these steps, important practice in our life, and then when the last moment comes in our life, we can be very peaceful and at ease. And this is not the end for our life journey. It's just a second.
没有错，柳暗花明又一村啊！真的是你会在转弯处就看到光明，不要把自己卡死在一个死角里面。常常我们在说，当你方向不对了，那就转个方向嘛，不就好了吗？所以他们也有人在得与失之间、荣与辱之间呢，都会很在乎，心里呢就很痛苦。所以当你舍得越多，内心就会越平静。然后最重要的是，你要能够付出爱心，能付出爱心的人就是福，能够消除烦恼的人呢就是慧。所以我们常常大师讲的回头转身，就是如果你的人生有错了方向，你就停下来，停、看、听，而且尤其失败，不表示说你就一蹶不振，你就从此就没有了未来，不是这样子的，不是说你再也没有时间，你再也不够力量去 返回一层去逆转胜，不是的，失败就告诉你，你其实有理由重新开始。所以我在想，今天真的是在这里跟大家可以分享一下。尤其最重要的事情是关于我自己的死亡经验我知道有很多的善知识，有很多的老师们，我们有很好的法师陪伴在我们身边，一直引导着我们，带领着我们，给我们很多做人处事的道理，然后陪伴着我们，教导着我们。那可是要讲到死亡的经验的，好像到现在就只有一个黄脸婆像我一样到处去说的。可是我也很愿意，在台湾有很多的人，他们从我的死亡经验里面，他们得到了一些非常好的乐观的人生态度，都跟我回想，都给我回馈，我真的好感谢大家。而且我记得在几十年前，我也到了墨尔本来说过这一段那最重要的事情是刚才告诉大家的说，一个生的转化我先跟大家讲一下我平时经验的分享吧，好不好？我自己在1999年的时候，因为之前我已经病了很长一段时间，所以我们因为今天时间的关系，所以我快快的活过来然后还要听大家给我的问题，好吗？所以我当初呢，在1999年的时候，我是因为生病，我病得非常严重的是因为刚才师父说我得的是淋巴癌，其实我都没有去跟师父报告过，我其实那个时候医生说我是肺腺癌。那肺腺癌一直都是非常难治的，在25年前快30年前，1999年，我在1992就开始出现了这些问题，所以呢，算起来快30年前。我那个时候呢，身体非常的糟糕。我只要像我现在能够这样讲话，我那时候只要讲3句话我就咳嗽。咳个不停，还有咳出血丝来，然后人呢一天天的消瘦，然后非常的没有精神。可是我那个时候就像大师讲的，我还到处去做像大观基金会帮助一些癌症的儿童，我到处去跟人家帮忙。其实我那时候想说，我快要死了，那在死之前呢，如果谁要用得到我就绝对马上跑过去。所以那个时候我致力在于儿童的癌症儿童的家庭的服务，还有我们一些公益活动上面，所以我就很忙。所以他们说是不是因为忙到忘记自己生病？我说有可能啊。所以在那段时间，经过了6年的时间，后来日渐消瘦之后，整个身体也没有体力了。在我去温哥华回来，去温哥华为了要中文学校要办中文学校开分校，完毕之后我回到台湾，当天我就住进医院。我在医院的时候，医生、院长、副院长就说：“你真的实在是状况不好，要不要就住下来？”我就说不了，我还是要回家。人都有自知之明我就说我觉得我自己过不了这一关了，我今天晚上应该就要走了。结果后来我死过活过来，我的朋友就告诉我说：“你以后不要这样子好不好？你死在家里，你家就变凶宅耶，那你家就不好卖了。”我说：“哎呦天哪，那我下次死的时候一定不要这样子，我就乖乖在医院他们就笑我不过这虽然是笑话，可是我那时候真的就是一心想回家，回到我熟悉的环境去。所以当我回到家，当我情况非常不好，呼吸也困难。那时候我先生很客气他就记得气功老师教我的，就是要做拔灌气就帮我在我所有的脉搏上面我的膏肓的地方也帮我放上那个拔灌器。结果当他放到背后的时候呢，我就说不行，实在太痛了。我就说你可不可以请你把它拨下来？那我先生说不行啊，气功老师说最好是20分钟。20分钟之后你才会够力气那可是我说不行，真的太痛了。那我先生就帮我拨下来的时候，我其实就昏过去了。可是我先生因为5、6年的我这样子每天咳，他就不受得了所以他就直接他以为我睡着了，他就上楼了，他就到他楼上的房间去了。所以那天晚上我开始独自面对死亡的开始。当我到了1点多我醒来了，我醒来之后呢，我就想我去上个洗手间吧。我下了床的时候我就发觉奇怪， 怎么有一个人走在我的前面，而且是东倒西歪的，我就觉得很纳闷。可是我也没有觉得不能有他我就想，好吧，我算了，我又回到床上，没有去上洗手间。到了4点多，我一看时钟，4点多，我又起来了。起来之后呢，我就又再去洗手间。这个时候很奇妙，我一到洗手间，看到自己坐在那个马桶上，我就觉得怎么在这里自己已经坐在那里了，也没有跟他打招呼，我就又回到床上，又躺下来了。我就觉得那个时候我已经开始进进出出啊，可是到底是什么眼睛看的，不知道。就到了第2天早上8点多，我先生就说：“你要起来喝点果菜汁吧，保养你的那个心脏。”那时候有曾经听到一位医师教的说，半颗苹果，半颗马铃薯，还有半颗青椒，然后打成汁喝了以后是保养心脏的。我就说：“好啊。”那我先生很贴心，他每天早上都会帮我做一下。就那时候他就一个马克杯，就放在我的面前，我就坐在厨房，他坐在我的对面，他就说：“对不起，今天没有那个吸管了，可不可以麻烦你自己把杯子拿起来喝啊？”平常就是用那转弯的吸管喝，很方便嘛。结果那天就是一个杯子，一个马克杯，就像这样一个小杯子在我的面前，我摸来摸去，我没有办法拿得动那个杯子。我就觉得奇怪，为什么自己怎么一点力量都没有呢？可是我也不疑有他，就是算了。那时候呢，我的头非常非常的痛，非常的胀，我觉得我的脸呢快要炸开了，而且有一个东西要从我的头顶上出去，就是想要把我的头拔开来。要冲出去，那我就一直很不舒服，我就一直摸我的脸，然后我就跟我先生摸我的脸，我发高烧了，我就跟我先生说，我发烧了，他就坐在对面，他觉得很奇怪他就把手这样摸过来，就这样摸过来摸一下我的额头，他的手呢是滚烫的，那到底怎么回事？原来他的手摸我，那他的手是烫的。那可见我这个额头是冷的嘛？那我为什么我自己摸我自己是滚烫的呢？因为我的手颈部以下已经冰掉了，我全身已经是冰冷的状态了。那我先生也不觉得奇怪，就说没有啊，那我就觉得很不好意思怎么没有烫啊？然后我就想，然后头又晕晕的，那我就想说，我去洗个脸好了，我就走了，我就走到我的浴室去。当我到我的浴室的时候呢，一个很大的玻璃在浴室的墙上嘛，我就搬着那个 sink 那个洗脸台，因为我快晕过去了，已经东倒西歪了，觉得自己走不稳了。然后我就按着那个洗脸台呢，我就一看到那个镜子的自己，天哪，吓死我了！因为呢，我美丽的大眼睛不见了，两个眼睛像那个猪啊，那个脸肿得像猪头一样，那个眼睛一样，噔噔。像两个小缝一样，我说天哪！我看到我自己那个脸，原来我的眼视啊，眼耳鼻的眼视已经改变了，我既不知道。我看到那个状态，吓了一跳，然后我就叫我先生说：“你过来，你赶快过来看看我怎么变得这么可怕？”我就搬着那个浴室的门因为我快晕过去了嘛，我就投过去叫他，你过来，你快点过来看我。然后我就再看看自己怎么那么严重，那我先生没有过来，我又再喊第2次说：“你快点过来，你快点过来，我不行了，我快晕过去了。”他还是没过来。到了晚上这种账一定要算的嘛，对不对？我晚上就跟他说：“谢谢谁？我早上都快晕过去了，我在厕所那边叫你，请你2次，你为什么都不肯过来呀？”结果我先生一脸的茫然，他说：“对不起，我完全没有听到你叫我只是觉得奇怪，你为什么压着那个门跟我这样2次做什么？”他以为我在跟他躲猫猫我说天哪，我说我还跟你躲猫猫嘞，我说奇怪，你为什么这样给我看我一下，然后一下又看我一下？所以那个时候因为我的声音已经传不出去了，因为我已经没有气，等于说我的风开始改变，地水火风的风开始改变了。然后当我反正换天换不离了，呼天换不离的地也不理我，所以算了，我就走了，我自己靠自己的，我就回房间。当我回房间的时候，我先生过来了，他说因为看我走路的样子很奇怪，好像有什么 好像就整个人像受伤的动物一样，所以他就过来了。他过来的时候刚好碰到床，一下就晕过去了，就倒下去。这个时候我全身瘫痪，只有一个地方会动，就是我眼珠子会动。哎呀，把他给吓死了！赶快打电话给气功老师，该怎么办？气功老师说：快，你让他喝温的盐水。那我瘫在那里嘛，怎么喝呢？所以我先是想到家里没有吸管了，所以他赶快下楼去买吸管，到我家对面有个小商店，所以他就叫我的管家说：“你赶快看着他，我赶快下去。”这个时候我看到他进了那个商店，然后他去拿了吸管，然后呢太紧张嘛，抽的时候呢，一拿起来的时候，一个吸管掉下来了，他不理他没捡起来。然后就去付钱，付钱的时候拿钱包，钱包又掉下来了，太紧张了。我都看到每一个细节的小动作都看到。他付完钱冲过来的时候，差点被个黑车子撞到，然后有个小朋友在大楼的楼下叫他，他也不理会人家，就冲进来了。我没有做便秘哦，我就回到我的身体，看着他，然后我等到晚上，我告诉他的时候，我先说你在哪里呀？我说我就在你的后面，一直看着你啊。可是我没有坐电梯哦，他就快把他给吓坏了。不过为什么我那时候为什么？因为我就开始进进出出了，我的灵魂，我觉得我相信灵魂嘛，我已经出去了，我又回来，出去我又回来。当我瘫在床上，他给我那个转弯的吸管的时候，我还是没办法，因为我的风几乎都已经没有了，已经分解了，所以我吸不动那个水。那这时候呢，气功老师说：“那快点把我的脚放在那个温的盐水里面，要放老姜跟粗盐哦。”在温水，那这时候呢，我家里有什么粗盐啊？可是我楼上有一位好朋友，我的秀敏他有，他就赶快拿个水桶下来了，就放在我的面前，放温水嘛。他们把我抓起来，因为我东倒西歪的嘛。那我先是在一边，我的管家在一边，秀敏就把我的脚这样扑通放到那水里，完了，一放进去我就说烫，把他们把我脚捞起来，太烫了，这是滚烫的水。moment my feet touches the 于是他们赶快就去拿那个冷水来兑这个温水，可是他们走路的时候就说吵，而且我很凶很气啊。
And then
用全部的力气，
try to get some cold water and
我的
mix
耳
it with
朵、我
the
的听
warm
觉
water.
他们走
And
路
then they just
穿个拖鞋，
walked
其实对我来讲就像放鞭炮一样，很大声，我受不了，我就说
to get
吵。
some water
他们
and
听到
then
自己
I
拖鞋的
screamed
声音，
again.
就马上
It
就
was so
脱掉
loud
拖鞋，
the
没
way
有
they
穿拖
walk.
鞋走路。那我还说吵，就那天
And
晚
then
上
they
呢，
just
秀
get
敏
rid
就问
of
我说：“小
the
慧姐，
slippers and walk on their
你
feet.
说我们
And I
吵，
still
那
feel
下
it was
次
very
你死的
loud.
时候我们要怎么走路啊？”我说：“哎，真的对不起，可能要用
Because I
滑
then
的
realized that it was
因为
very
每一个
sensitive to
小
all the
声音对我
sounds
来讲
and the
都非
feelings
常的刺耳，
around
我也
me
不懂为什么，
at
就
the
是耳翅大概打
moment
开了
of death
非常
at
非
that
常刺
at
耳。
that
那
time.
时候呢，他们没有办
Even
法，他
a
们
slight
到后来
sound
放冰块，
was
我
very
都说
loud to
烫，
me.
因为我的火
And
已经
then
离开了，
later
就
they
是
put some
地
ice
水火风
cubes
的
into
火，
the
我的温
basin.
度
I
已经没
still
有
felt
了，我
it's
是全
hot
身冰冷的嘛。好了，这下子没有办法，就问气
because I
功老
felt
师，
like
气
the
功老师
four
说：“
basic
那快
elements
点
was
把我
leaving
放
my
下来好了，
body
因为他们
because I
两边
was feeling
架着
very
我嘛。
cold at
我想
that
好在
time.
我也不是要作画哈，把我放下来才舒服一点吧。所以他们就开始把我放下来的时候，因为我先生因为我重嘛，那时候很重，要把我放下来的时候，他就背着我，他背着我。大家想，这如果是我的
My
背
husband
啊，所以
actually
我
put
放在
on
床上
my
嘛，他就开始
myself
放
on
我
his
下来，
back,
放
and then he
到
tried to
快要
let
靠
me
近床
down
的时
to
候，
the
他就
bed.
要爬出去啊，要把我这样子把两个人再帮我抱着，把我放下来啊。就在这个
And
时候，
the housekeeper and my husband tried to put me down to the
我的
bed,
骨
and it was
头
almost
开
at
始
a
脱落，
45
就是我的脊
angle
椎这骨头
my
太清
body
楚了，会这样
to
动
the
一下有声
bed.
音的，像
And I
小
felt
小
like
声的这样
my bones was broken.
小小声的，而且是震动一下掉一块，震动一下
It's like
掉一块，差不多4
vibrating.
块到5块之间哦，都掉在我的腰这地方，非常
And I
不
could
舒服。
feel
这时
that
候就觉
4 or
得一堆
5
的东西在这里，
bones was
这地方
falling
很难
down
受。那时候
to
呢，
my
因为我
waist,
是客
and I
家人，
felt
我先生
my
也是客
waist
家
was
人，
very
我旁边
heavy
的
because
春
I
兰
was
我家的
hawking
管
and
家也是
my
客家人，所以我就用客家话讲一句
same for
话，
my
我就说
husband and
冲
my
别哈，
housekeeper.
帮我抖一下。我觉得是这样抖一下可能就会好一点了哈。我说冲，他们都知道说要抖
So
一
I
下，
asked them
所以他们放一个大枕头放在
shrug
我
me
的头这边，那2个人当我 快到那个床的时候呢，他们两个就1、2、3摇一下，这下子完了，前面的骨头很清楚的咔咔咔咔咔4、5声的声音，就觉得裂开来了。
The bones in front of my body was almost broken. At that time, I feel so tired. I couldn't really, I don't have the energy to talk. So I just leave it like that and not argue with them. When I was lying down in the bed, I remember there was the chanting by Venerable Xingding.
所以我一定要跟大家讲，如果你有什么事情要交代，之前都要练习好懂不懂？要跟大家交代。那是我先生翻箱倒柜，不晓得定和尚在哪里所以他就把法音清流请出来了，就把法音清流放给我听
That device with the chanting by Venerable Xingding.
每一个人的
However, at that time, my husband wasn't really knowing exactly sure where I've placed the device that has the chanting by Venerable Xingding. So he instead took another device playing some other music.
2点半跟师父有约，那要带朋友来见师父嘛。那所以我就跟阿光
And then all of a sudden, I remember that I had an appointment with Venerable Xing Yun at 2:30 p.m. And then he immediately called Venerable Master Xing Yun.
他打电话的时候，我就听到师父在说话，然后师父就说，师父在交代旁边的人说助念
beside my king size bed.
师父说小慧不行了，助念。然后大师就接了我的电话，大师就跟我讲，师父我下午没有办法来了，我现在呢大概要走了。我说师父，我现在先走了，真是不好意思跟师父告假那我就听到大师说，小慧不要怕，等我马上就到。我说师父你不用担心。
And then I can hear what my husband said, so I also talked to Venerable Master Xing and said, sorry, Master, I was almost dying, so I couldn't make the appointment today. But don't worry, Venerable Master Xing.
小慧不要怕，等我马上就到。我说师父，你不用担心，我没有怕，我一点都不怕。我说师父我到了那边，我先把那边呢，如果看看还不错的话，我就在那边成立一个佛光会，然后我就在那地方跟大家说好。
Venerable Master Xing, Venerable Master, I'm not really worried. I will go to that place and have a look and see if that place is good. Then I will also probably establish a Foguangshan association.
不怕，这时候我就。
And I feel like I've been repeating myself over the phone that Venerable Master could not hear what I was talking over the phone.
师父，小慧一直在说，一直在嘴巴一直动，我们也听不到他在说什么。
And then I can hear that my husband also talked to Venerable Master Xing that, yeah, we can hear Sophia was talking, but also both of us cannot hear what she was talking. But Venerable Master, don't worry, Sophia can hear what you are talking on the line.
然后什么都万缘放下了。这时候呢，我的眼泪鼻涕开始流，不停的流，把那枕头全部都弄湿了。当我
And then I reflected upon my previous experience in the Foguangshan in Vancouver. I started to cry, burst into tears.
所以他说我没有流口水，你想想看，一个老太婆再流个口水呢，多难看光流眼泪鼻涕就是了。这时候呢，他们呢就不停的在帮我擦眼泪鼻涕，我就看得到他们在帮我擦眼泪鼻涕。
这时候呢，for my running nose，
我奇怪了，我又离开了我的身体了。我看到有人在那地方
And I feel like my soul was leaving my body, and I see someone like was in the sky or up in the air. Then I can see completely that someone was cleaning for my body lying on the bed. Another myself.
楼梯的地方呢，我的管家坐在楼梯那地方，搬着吸尘器在哭。这个画面很特别吧？因为我就到了晚上，我就问他说：“春兰，你为什么早上搬着吸尘器在那里哭？好好笑哦。”他说：“你怎么知道？”我说：“我看到啊。”他说：“你那时候不是死在床上吗？”我说：“什么话嘛？”他说：“我说有没有？”他说：“有啊，因为我没有力气了，我太伤心了，我就搬着吸尘器哭啊。” 哎呦，你怎么
beside a
你死
vacuum
掉
cleaner.
了？你变鬼了是吗？我说乱讲，我变仙了。可是我就看到了，
And she was
我就看到
completely
这里，
shocked
也看到我家里的楼下大楼
and said,
那
how
个小
come
孩子
you
在玩
know
水，
actually
游泳
what I
池
was
嘛，在
doing
玩
during the
水。
day?
我看一遍就看到，这边怎么有人在擦一大堆的那个布啊，什么东西？我觉得那是什么东西啊？我们一想的时候，我就回去了。我回去就看到人家是大毛巾在擦我的脸啊，这样子擦，因为眼泪鼻涕不停的流嘛。哦，这下子一下子以后呢，我又安静又再休息了一下，结果我就看到我自己起来了，我就看到我自己的背影往强光走去，往那个
And then I saw myself rising from the bed and walking towards some strong light. More than 80% of the people who are near or the death or dying will see a very strong light in front of the people. So I was walking over that light. I was walking towards that strong light, and I could hear very beautiful music and very nice, beautiful clothes floating in the air.
美国讲结果他们就在报纸上，《世界日报》就写我说我见到美丽的仙女来接我那我就说不对啦，我说我没有见到美丽的仙女，我只是看到漂亮的衣服，就七彩的衣服这样飘过来，很大很大的衣服飘过来。结果那记者就说：“哎呦，校长，你这样讲会吓死人的，又不是在讲聊斋，讲鬼故事，你有啦，有美丽的仙女，你没有看到啦。”我说我说对不起广田学长，是我死还是你死啊？他说是你死没错，可是你死的糊里糊涂的。
telling me that you shouldn't be telling about the ghost stories.
他说很多濒临死亡的人就算他现在
It's actually my own personal experience. You wouldn't be able to know it. So why would you think I'm telling that ghost story? It's actually true based on my own personal experience.
那我那时候在想，很纳闷嘛，到底怎么回事啊？当我到了那听到那么美的音乐，我看到环顾四周这么美妙，我一个念头。
So when I hear the very beautiful music around me,
可是我走不动，你晓得吗？我太累了。于是我就很用力的吸口气。
Thought in my mind that I would like to come back and be alive again and share with you what I have experienced.
我就跟我的身体连接在一起。
However, I felt so tired and heavy and couldn't really control myself.
你哭什么啦？他说。因为电视电影都是这样子演的嘛，你吸下了最后一口气，你终于死掉了。我说天哪！然后他说后来是因为那个另外的朋友讲说没有啊，小薇好像在睡着了，我开始呼吸的嘛。
So my housekeeper was thinking that I'm already dead, so she started to cry again. However, I woke up again and be alive at night. And who surprised all those around me.
太奇妙了。下午永荣法师来看我
And I felt such an amazing experience to be alive again.
永荣法师说：“哎呀，你遇到了四大分级啊！”我说四大，他说对呀，地水火风。我就跟他说，我知道地水火风啊。
And very Yongmen told me that I have gone through the separation of the four basic elements from my body.
有权多了不起啊！你想想看，人是四大合成的，地水火风，就是表示呢，地就是地震，水就是水灾，火就是火灾，风就是风灾。地震一来，你再有钱再有权也没有啦。风一吹，火一烧，我就这样子被污染了50年了。我以为地水火风讲的是地震、水灾、火灾、风灾，结果永荣法师说：“你千万不要这样讲，如果你这样讲，你还是谈讲师出去讲就完了。”我说：“那不然是什么啦？”他说：“天哪，你一大早，你冰冷的身体就是你的火已经分解了。”
So Venerable Yongwen told me the separation of the leaving of the four basic elements, that I'm feeling cold is the leaving of the temperature, the bursting into the tears is the leaving of the water, and the separation of the earth is the pain I felt in my bones. And the shorter breath is the separation of the wings.
昨天永荣法师来 跟我说了地水火风，大师就掩着嘴巴说：“听说了，地震、水灾、火灾、风灾。”我说：“哎呀，师父真的惭愧，真是不应该啊。”
And the next day, when I met
告诉
Venerable
我
Master
为什么
Shin
回来。我说：“师父，那我真的不晓得我为什么回来。”
and asked me why I decided to come back and be alive again.
你在生病的这段时间
And I
你挂
said,
碍
I
了
don't
你的
really
生
know
病吗
Venerable
挂碍了
Master.
死亡吗
Then
那
Master
倒没有哦，师父。那
responded
我倒
that
真的没有这样
because you're
挂碍
not
哦。我
detached,
说我倒是
you
一
are
直
not
记得
attached
大
to
师
any
在菜根
thing
谭
in
里头
this
教导我们
world.
的怎么样面对死亡哦。师父说，面对
And I
死
said, I
亡的
always
时候
remember
要
what
有
you're
如游子还
talking
乡的喜悦。
in your
面对死
previous
亡的时候
sharing,
要有
that
如
when
囚
faced up with the
犯
life,
释放
you
的
should
自
feel
由。
the
面对
joy
死亡要有如
for those
刺
people who
实的
actually
地
be
眼。
able to
面
reunite
对
with
死
their
亡要
family
有如
and
空山
return
圆
home.
月的宁静。你
And
想想
then
看，游
faced
子
up
还
with
乡是
the
喜悦
death,
的，囚犯
and it's
释
just like
放
the
是自
freedom
由
felt
的，
by the prisoners.
刺实的地眼是自然的，空山圆月的宁静是旷达的。所以我说，师父，我在你的
And just
教诲
as
之下，
profound
我
as
知道怎么
the
面对死亡。
moon
所以师
in
父说，因
the
为你一直都心无
open
挂碍，
forest.
是的，我在每一个当下都处理好自己，就当下我就离开这个世界，
Because I was
毫
not
无
really
遗
attached
憾。
to any
所以我
people,
真的，我觉得我
anything in
最
this
感谢，
world.
然后在生病的那个过程中的
So
时
I
候
could
呢，
be
因
at
为
ease
实
and
在太久了嘛，6年
faced
多
up
的
to
时
the
间，
death
我真的感谢我们
with
的佛光
a
会员
natural
四
and
句
non-attachment
偈
mind.
我就是靠那句惭愧、感恩、大愿心这样子来面
And
对，
really
所
remember
以
the
非常的感
motto
谢感
for
动。
佛光
然后我
山
重回人间以后，我也有
for
一些体
repentance
悟哦，
and
我觉
compassion
得活着真好的体
and
悟哦，
gratitude.
就是
And I also
就
had
是
some
第一
sharing
个
for
呢，就
being
是要有
alive
净
again.
化的真爱。净化的真爱，你要懂得自爱、爱人哦，你要热爱自己的生命，你要认识自己、接纳自己、
So the
肯
first
定
one is
自
about
己、
the
感谢自
purified
己。因为我
love.
们常常每一个人对自
It's
己
a
太
difference
刻
between the
薄了，
self-love
都不
and
懂得
loving
欣赏
others.
自己哦。
So
当
first
然
of all, we need
你也不要
to
担心
know
说
how to
有
appreciate
那些
ourselves,
无赖，有那些
to
流氓，
know
他不就特别
ourselves,
欣赏自己
accept
吗？我们
ourselves.
讲的哦，那就不是真爱自己的人哦。我们要认识自己以后，一定要给自己，要放过自己，要对自己好一点。你不用担心，
We
像
should
今
be
天
good to
会来听，
ourselves.
跟我们一起分享这个生命老病死生的好
And
朋
not
友
to
们，
be
你们就一
too
定是一位非常好的好人，所以
criticizing
一定要
what
懂
we
得
do in
热
the
爱
past,
自己的
even
生
though it
命，
might not be
请
100%
肯定
correct.
自己，也要感谢自己，好不好？第二个呢，
And
就
need to
是
also
真
affirm
诚的
what
助
we've
人，
been doing
一定
and
要记
also
得，
thank
我们
ourselves.
帮助别人不要有条件的，我们一定要
Next is about
对，
loving
我们在帮
others
助人家的时候呢，要记得就是要有
with
三
an
心两
unconditional
意哈。OK，
compassion.
好，我们讲到爱人好啦，我们要自爱哦。刚才还有爱人的地方的，对不起哦，我一定让要帮我做那个 PowerPoint 的朋友，你一定很难过。我东讲西讲的。好，我们来讲爱人哦。爱人就是要尊重他人的生命，要给人欢喜，
So
给
loving
人方
others
便，
is
给
about
人信
respecting
心，
the
给
life
人
of
希望。
others'
因为刚
life,
才我亲爱的律师
give
说过
other
了，
joy,
我就想说，这是我们
convenience,
大家都要做的，
confidence
对
and
不对
hope.
啊？这个给要懂得给的三昧哈，这个叫自爱爱人，好吗？然后接下来是真诚的助人，就是要用三心两意啊。我所谓的三心，就是要开放的心、柔软的、慈悲的，
And
就
next
是不
is
要什么
about
东西
helping
都
others genuinely with 3 minds
自
and
以
2
为是哈。
thoughts.
你要用开放的心，
The
常常
3
讲
minds
降
are
落
the
伞
minds
不
of
打开来是没有
openness,
用
the
的哈，
gentleness,
你
and
的心不
compassion.
打开来也是没有用的，你没办法接受到新知，接受到
An
新
open
思
mind
维的，
means
对不
we
对？
need to
还
open
有
up
要
our
柔软的，
minds
不能一天到
towards
晚哼来
others,
哼
just
去
like
啊，
opening
这
the
是最了不起
parachute.
要非常柔软的
For
去
it to
面
be
对
useful.
所有的人事物，当然要发慈悲。
A mind of
真的是
gentleness
要
is that
像
we should
我
be
们
gentle
伟
with
大的
others
大慈大悲观世音
and
菩萨
how we
好。
actually deal with
好的，
those
然
things
后呢，
happening
第
around
三个
us.
呢，就是要有强烈的求知。我们三心过了还有两意，我们的两意是诚心诚意、全心
Lastly is the
全
mind of
意啊，
compassion.
就是你不要有条件的，不要有 有利害关系的，你一定要非常诚心的去做， 所以要有这个三心两意的去帮助人家，毫无条件的，好吗？另外，我讲的第三点就是要有强烈的求知，在阅读跟思考方面呢，死过了以后回来，我就变成疯狂的阅读，这是变成一个濒临死亡的回来，有的人会带回一个好像有他心通，然后会有那种特别的就是特别的能力哦。那像我就变成非常爱阅读，而且疯狂的阅读哈。
And for myself, I'm an avid reader.
我们有很多的经典可以阅读啊，所以呢。
And for a Buddhist, I think we were very fortunate because we have so many great knowledge passed on from the Buddha and the venerables. That we have the opportunity to deeply explore those sutras to discover the wisdom as boundless as the ocean. Just like the Diamond Sutra and other sutra has been shared by Venerable Master Xing earlier. After reading, we should start to also know how to contemplate. There is a saying that it's rather to be short of books than to take its content as absolute accuracy.
看我们佛光出版社出的书，看大师的著作，那是最棒最棒，那是就是人生的灯塔有师父指引着我们，师父千千万万，他不只是著作等身的，
So the books and the collection of the Venerable Master Xing is actually like a lighthouse for us, which will guide us onto the right path.
看到师父写的书，看到我们星云大师的著作，像现在有大师的全集也都出了，甚至在中国也都有全集，大师的全集都是特别好，而且我们还有睿智的像一空法师、永本法师，他们了不起的解说带领着我们，都是我们导师，我们跟着他们的步伐，我们精进学习。
And there are so many great venerables and masters in Fogong that we can actually rely on and take them as our guides to actually get more wisdom in our life. So today I think it is very honored here to actually be able to share with you my near-death experience. And I sincerely hope that everyone can actually benefit from my sharing today, and wishing you peace and auspicious blessings. Thanks a lot to Sophia's inspirational talk today. For those who are acquainted with Sophia, they often associate Sophia's name with the feeling of empowerment and strength. I also very much echo to that compliment upon hearing your sharing today. We've also collected some of the questions from our online audience today. So the first question is how to let go of the things we attach so much in our life. Okay, thanks for the question. I think actually based on my own personal experience, it takes a lot of practice and learning to be able to really let go of things and people. It takes a lot of practice and courage to be able to learn how to say goodbye to our beloved people in our life. And just like one day when they leave us, how do we actually say goodbye to them? And it's also about the things that we attach to in our lives, such as those famous or luxurious brands, bags, shoes, and clothing in our life. How can we learn to let go of those things at the moment of death? Based on my own experience, I think it's important to actually utilize the compassion and the wisdom built up during our everyday life to be able to let go of these things at the last moment of our life, and to also give and to participate in those beneficiary courses, and with an open and compassion and gentle mind.
新生命中所遇到的人事物都是为了爱我而来的，但我们则常把那些伤害我们的都叫做冤亲债主。您的说法感觉是主动的、感恩的，而冤亲债主的说法则比较被动、认命。我也希望能把冤亲债主视为是为了爱我而来的，总是无法自我说服。请问平常要如何练习爱我的仇人呢？
And the second question, how to actually love our enemies. I think the answer to that is actually not to have any enemies in our life. Just like in our daily life, we say the wise people are those who can actually solve their problems. The smart people are those who can solve the issues. So the answer to that is that if we don't have any enemies, and we befriend with everyone around us, and don't make them our enemies, we can solve everything and every challenges around in our life. And it's all up to us to define who are our enemies. So it's all our own personal perception. Once again, thanks so much, Sophia, for the wonderful sharing, and the audience for all your great questions. As Venerable Master Xing remarks, our right attitude towards that should be similar to the joy for being able to returning home and reuniting with our family members, and the freedom felt by the released prisoners. The near-death experience by Sophia and the change in her attitude towards life has impacted positively her way of dealing with people in a more humble way, and her embracing the life with greater compassion. May we all be able to learn from Sophia's sharing of her life experience to adopt a more peaceful mindset towards death, whilst sharing our love and compassion with those around us. Last but not least, just a kind reminder for next week's Dharma talk to be delivered by our late Dharma teacher, Senior Lecturer of Griffith School of Medicine and Vice President of Association of Lay Lama Teachers of BLIA, Dr. Eric Chen, to talk us on the topic of birth, which would also conclude the 4 month lessons hosted by Oceania for Guangshan. We do sincerely hope to see you once again at 1:30 p.m. Melbourne time next Saturday. Bye for now.